What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with another song from the 1986 recording of the original cast of Phantom of the Opera by Andrew Lloyd Webber. Shout out to all the folks who've been following this, as well as to Darren, who has a particularly enlightening understanding of the musical. But yes, we're going to listen to Masquerade, and I think it's like Masquerade / Why So Silent, if I'm not mistaken. My file just lists it as Masquerade. Nevertheless, I think this takes place at the beginning of Act 2, and at that point, Erik, the Phantom, I think has been silent or not involving himself in the affairs of the theater for a few months, maybe like 6 months. But the theater hosts a masquerade ball. People are in costume. The song has a very grandiose and jubilant type of sound. And then suddenly Erik reveals himself dressed as Death and insists that the theater puts on a production of, is it Don Juan Triumphant? I think it's Don Juan Triumphant, with Christine cast in one of the lead roles. And his threat is once again ominous, but also very striking. It's a very commanding moment. So yes, ultimately, as I said, I think the second part of this, or the latter stages of this, might technically be called Why So Silent. Either way, let's give it a listen. This is from the Phantom of the Opera original soundtrack recording, Masquerade. Oh, so in the metadata, it does show it here as Masquerade Why So Silent, although in the folder I have it, the main title just listed it as Masquerade. So yes, I was correct. This is by Andrew Lloyd Webber, Masquerade Why So Silent, from the beginning of Act 2 of the world-famous musical.
Makes you glad, makes you proud of all the creme de la creme.
Watching us,
and
watching them
in the
6 months
of relief,
of delight,
of Elysian peace.
and we can breathe at last. No more ghosts. Here's a health.
Here's a toast to a prosperous year, to the new chandelier.
and they said,
What a joy!
what a change.
What a blessed release, and what a masquerade.
Think of it, a secret engagement, look your future bright. Just think of it.
Why is it secret? What have we to hide?
Please let's
Christine,
not
you're
fight
free.
until the time
When
is
will I
right.
be? It's an engagement, not a crime. Christine, what are you afraid of?
Let's not
Let's not argue.
Please
I
pretend
can only hope
we'll
I'll understand.
in time.
Why so silent, good messieurs? Did you think that I had left you for good? Have you missed me, good messieurs? I have written you an opera. Here I bring the finished score. Don Juan triumphant. I advise you to comply. My instructions should be clear. Remember, there are worse things than a shattered chandelier. Your chains are still mine. You will sing for me.
So, yeah, I was not remembering a couple things there. Like, okay, so, number one, I love the pageantry of that scene. As someone who was lucky enough to see the musical before, it's the most florid and colorful scene that I can recall in the entire musical, and it is, of course, a costume ball. And the jubilance, the energy of the Masquerade song is fantastic. And I love and was not recalling how we get some moments where we just hear the orchestra flourishing with the melody of the song. I do also enjoy when it strips down and we get some individual voices. There's some comedy there, including the new chandelier line, and I wasn't recalling the later reference to that. You know, there are worse things than a shattered chandelier from the Phantom. I love also, and was not recalling, how we get Christine and Raoul with a Think of Me reprise / variation, Think of It, and they're talking about their secret engagement, and, you know, they're both, you know, they don't want to argue, but they have slightly different opinions on going public with this information. And then we go back into the Masquerade again, one more big flourish with some really operatic voices, and then suddenly the phantom chords from his theme, and you clearly get a sense that he arrives. And I recalled visually when those orchestra hits are happening in isolation, 1, and then 2, and 3. He's taking very deliberate steps down that big staircase, like in the center of the stage, and there's a lot of focus on him in every respect. And I love the why so silent, you know, did you think I had left entirely? Because again, I think it's been like 5 or 6 months since the chandelier incident, and so it's a shock to those who thought, okay, we don't have to deal with that person or phantom or spirit anymore. And so he suddenly returns, demands they perform this, wants Christine to play it, but it's also an intense moment between him and Christine. And I think that idea of like, your chains belong to me, I think he like pulls off, it's either a necklace, I forget exactly what it is, but it has the ring that Raoul has given her in his betrothal. And so he's again saying like, no, you belong to me, and very visually showing that by confiscating, if you will, and, you know, tearing apart the symbol of Raoul's engagement to Christine in the moment. So yeah, there's some elements there I didn't remember, but they came back visually and emotionally as I listened to this. So yes, it's been great to reconnect to this. Shout out again to Darren, as well as Michaela and some others who've been commenting on the previous reactions, and once again, I'll go through every song that I have in this soundtrack over time, so hopefully you're here for that. Do let me know what you think of this, and I will see you for the next one. Peace.